let me give a couple of updates on what I think are some of our challenges in terms of developing our relationship with God. Prayer. We had a recent dip in the use of the prayer email channel. So over the 6 months to the beginning of Lent, there were only a third as many prayer requests coming around by email as in the previous 6 months. That's a huge dip, actually. And in terms of prayer ministry, there's been far fewer people coming forward for prayer ministry over recent months. Both have actually picked up a bit in the last month, which is good. And there might be good reasons for those dips in prayer requests and sharing on Sunday mornings. It might just be that we're praying more in small groups, which would be great. It might be that actually we're not as dependent on God as we have been. And of course, everything we do as a church has got to be grounded in prayer, or it's worth nothing. And we've said we want to be a God-dependent community. So I think prayer is a challenge for us to make sure we're keeping on growing, keeping on relying on God in prayer. Prayer ministry now is on the second Sunday of the month at the 9 o'clock service, and other Sundays of the month at 10:30 service. There's a prayer gathering every Saturday morning that meets in here to seek God for the life of this church. Bible reading. We've said we want to be a Bible-based church. And in our autumn vision update, we wanted more people to be reading Bibles regularly and engaging with God that way. And yet when we did a bookstall of Bible reading resources at the beginning of the year, actually hardly anyone used it. Now that might mean that everyone has got their own personal Bible reading perfectly sorted, unlike me. Or it might just be that actually we're not engaging with the Bible as much as we should be. So I think we still need to work in that area, and Chris Hayward and Di Sawyer are going to be helping encourage us with that. And then another challenge I think we face, which again we highlighted in the autumn vision update, is stepping out in faith. And I've been introduced recently to the concept of failing backwards and failing forwards. Failing backwards is when you have a go at something and it doesn't work and you give up. Failing forwards is when you have a go at something and it doesn't work, and you learn from your mistake and you try again. And I think that's quite an important distinction. And if we're going to see our church community turned inside out, if we're really going to have an impact on Shirley and Southampton with the gospel, and see lives transformed and community transformed, we have got to fail more often. In other words, we've got to try more often. We've got to step out in faith and be willing to fail in the world's eyes, knowing that the only real failure is the failure from which you don't learn. WD-40 is apparently called WD-40 because WD-1 and WD-2 and WD-3 and WD-39 and all the ones in between didn't work. But that is someone who failed forwards. He learned, or she learned, I don't know who it was, and kept going until they got it right. That is failing forwards. That's what we need to do as a church community. So I want to see more of us stepping out in faith. And I'll be delighted if you fail, because it will be a sign that you've tried. I'll be disappointed if we never fail as a church, because it will mean that we haven't tried. Often it's our teenagers who lead the way in stepping out in faith. One of them started reading the Bible in a year with friends at college. I think only one of them managed to make it through the whole year. So at one level you could call that a failure, but actually I'm so pleased that they tried. Another teenager now at uni tried to set up a little evangelistic Bible study in her hall. It didn't get off the ground, but I was delighted that she tried. Wonderful. And so I hope that we can help turn those experiences and make sure that they're not sort of failing backwards experiences where they give up hope and never try again, but they're failing forwards experiences and they learn and keep going. And maybe there are some in our congregation who have tried and failed at some point in the past and have been so hurt by that experience or so disappointed by that experience that they've never tried again. And if that's anyone here, I'd encourage you to pray into that, because I don't think that's the response that God would want from us. He wants to heal us from those hurts. He wants to give us courage and faith to try again. He wants to help us learn from failures in the past. So I'll say it again. I'll be disappointed if we never fail as a church. And I'll be really pleased if we do fail, because that will be a sign that we're stepping out in faith. And we'll make sure that we're failing forwards by learning lessons as we go along. And when we see people failing, let's make sure we get alongside them and encourage them and pray for them and help them learn from mistakes and so on. We'll come back to that idea of failing forwards a little bit later. And by the way, when it comes to church life, don't wait for me to authorise whatever ideas or initiatives you have. I can very easily become a bottleneck and slow things right down. And that's not healthy for me, and it's not healthy for anything else. So please, if you've got an idea, don't run it past me. Run it past a sound group or a mission group or something if you want to pick their brains and wisdom. If you need support or resources, then there's other people that you can turn to as well. You can ask Katie if it's to do with pastoral stuff, ask Nigel if it's to do with mission stuff. But otherwise, just go for it. And let's make sure that we're failing forward as a church.